I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All the stuff here is missing. Sorry to hold up the meeting.
That's okay.
Never sat on the end. It's weird. No.
Okay, is there any public comment at this time? There being none, verification of posting of the agenda.
Pam Moore, for the record, the revised agenda was posted on September 19th between the hours of 8 and 9 at the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you, Pam. Consideration and possible action approval of agenda as submitted or revised. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as submitted.
Second?
I'll second.
Hey, Pam, the microphone is also dead, so really just mixing stuff up. See, we can argue tonight.
You got a bad vibe with you today, Jason, or what?
Yeah, it already knows.
Okay. Consideration possible action approval of the minutes of the meetings held on June 11th, 2025 and August 13th, 2025. I have a motion to accept the June 11th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the June 11th meeting.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a first and second motion to accept the minutes of the June 11th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the August 13th, 2025 minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the August 13th minutes as well.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a first and second motion to accept the minutes of the August 13th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, nobody. Okay. Next item, consideration possible action petitions filed by Gregory Dicker, Kimberly Decker, Tracy Lee Pinter, James Thomas Pintar, requesting amendment to Nevada Administrative Code 503.1465 regarding archery disability permits proposed to distinguish permanent and temporary disabilities and recommend establishing an expiration dates for the temporary permits.
I don't see a problem with this. It's perfectly acceptable the way as it written, where it's separated out temporary disability versus permanent disability, and separating those out where the temporary disability would expire after a year. But his concern was a permanent disability expires after a year now. So even with a permanent disability where you may never be able to draw a bow again, every year you have to go reapply and get that permit. So I see no problem with this.
So do you want to make a motion, Andrew?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept this petition.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a first and second motion to accept the amendment request of 503.1465 regarding disability and recommended expiration dates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Next item, master guide and sub-guide accountability.
I agree with the premise. I think a master guide should be held accountable for something that a sub-guide does. That's the whole purpose of the guide, master guide, sub-guide relationship. Is because if the sub's doing stuff he's not supposed to, that's a reflection of the master guide, in my opinion. There's not a lot of language, like breaking anything down, but
No, it says that they'll present potential modifications.
I already thought that was a thing, so I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 7B.
Is there any support data to go with that? I don't see it.
I don't see
Not
any.
one either.
I didn't
Nothing
see it at
here.
home or.
No. I mean, that's why I'll make a motion to approve as
No.
it's written right here with nothing attached.
I assume that's to, if a sub-guide is committed a violation, it reflects also on the guides.
Yeah. Does that mean the guide's gonna get 12 demerit points too?
So if a sub-guide is convicted of a, say, a trapping violation, should that reflect on the guide, master guides?
I would say only when you're performing duties as a guide.
Well, that's what I don't know, what they're leading into. Yeah, I would totally agree if it's in regards to a guiding
Yeah.
regulation, but not,
Because there's no
Fishing,
attachment
no
on this, we can
license,
also
huh?
just take no action.
Yeah, you're right.
it's what?
Because there's nothing attached to this, like what they want to change, we can also
Yeah,
just take
that's
no
what I
action.
don't understand.
Okay, so you want to take no action?
When I
Yes.
read through this, I thought they were just asking to like hold a, like a workshop to go over the language, but I don't see that in here.
It says the department will present potential modifications, so.
Right.
So I don't know what action we should,
I'll make a motion to take no action on item 7B.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and second motion to take no action on the regulatory modifications to link master guide and sub-guide and accountability. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Consideration of possible action, state's fiscal year 2026, 2027 biennial big game release plan.
You skipped the
Oh,
antelope
yeah,
translocation.
sorry, pronghorn antelope. Yeah, I wrote over
I
that.
say only if they're gonna send us out back.
Translocation
They're giving us
agenda
the-
report.
No. They have a request for 100 antelope from us going to them. I read that right, yes? The tribe is requesting 100 antelope from Nevada?
That
Cold.
sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, we're sending them 100 antelope.
Then in the next one, it talks about we're getting 75 antelope.
That's the biennial game release plan. That's the next topic.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So we're gonna take the 75, add 25, and send them all over there. I'll make a motion to approve the pronghorn antelope translocation.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a first and second motion. Any further discussion? There being no more, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration of possible action, state fiscal year 2026, 2027 biennial big game release plan.
So it looks like they're moving sheep
And pronghorn.
sheep into the still waters, I'm assuming to make up for that disease event they had recently. And the Montanas, which I think was also a disease event, right? And then moving
100 to 150 animal.
100 to 150, oh, two, yeah, the Calicos and the Black Rock.
Any discussion? Call for a motion.
I'll move that we approve the proposed biennial big game release plan.
Second,
I'll second.
further discussion? We have a first and second motion to accept the fiscal year 2026, 2027 biennial big game release plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration and possible action. Hunting, fishing, and trapping trespass regulation.
The floor is yours, Jason.
I just don't understand why the magic number for the Department of Wildlife right now is 12, and why everything has to become a 12 demerit. What was it before? Does anybody know?
9.
9. So was 9 not sufficient? I don't understand. They're going to 12 for thermal, which is in here.
Yeah.
12 for game cams. Now, mind you, I'm going to say it again, and I've said it at every meeting. It's really silly to look at this report for demerit points, and when you see possession of thermal right below killing a bald eagle, and they're the same demerit points, at some point, we've got to differentiate these. I don't understand it. Because really, what it looks to me, if I was an outside observer, it looks to me like the department is trying everything they can to take hunting privileges away from people by using these. This one may not be innocuous because it's trespassing, and I get that. But the thermal and things like that, that's just one more thing. Hey, you forgot to take your thermal out from coyote hunting last week. Guess what? You're getting 12 demerits and your license is gone. It's just silly to me.
Agreed.
Any further discussion?
It looks like this may have come about in regards to guides actually trespassing. I don't know what the backstory is on it, but
Yeah, so why doesn't it specify guides?
and then I guess in the future, they're going to clarify the definition of trespass, which is established in NAC, not in commission regulations. So I don't know what,
But they want us to associate demerit points before they've even defined what trespass is. Personally, I'm going to be opposed to this because I'm tired of everything being changed to a 12 demerit. You're just changing it to where we're taking licenses for everything now, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to make a motion to oppose agenda item 7E, strictly based on the principle of the 12 demerits.
you're opposed to the 12 to changing it to,
Correct. I'm opposed to changing it to a 12 demerit violation.
I'll
I
second
feel
that.
I feel like 9 demerits is sufficient.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Okay, we have a first and second motion to oppose hunting, fishing, and trapping trespass regulation as far as the 12 demerits are concerned. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Commission General Regulation 5.28, motor restrictions and revisions related to fisheries.
Well, he wants to
Fish
talk
and
on
Game
that.
have comment on this? Peggy,
What's that?
I think he has comment, or,
Oh, okay,
okay, that's Jake, the fisheries biologist.
okay.
You turn that on, I can't.
State your name and who you represent.
There you go.
For the record, Jake Ward, Fallon Fisheries Biologist with the Nevada Department of Wildlife. Also for the record, I'm no longer at Carson Lake Wildlife Management Area, and that position has been replaced, so I'm in a new role.
So you're out here with at the regular office then now?
Yes,
Okay.
I was at the regular office, but just in a different role.
Role,
So,
okay.
new desk.
He just wants it on the record. He's not in charge of Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask about the management plan for Carson Lake.
Okay,
I mean, I understand the premise of it, you're trying to get rid of pike. That makes sense. I don't ice fish, so I don't know anything about ice fishing hole size regulation, didn't even know that was a thing.
10 inches.
Huh. Cool story, bro. And updating scientific names, somebody else is gonna have to weigh in on all of that.
Nah, that's,
I'm sure to argue about trail cameras.
Yeah.
Jake, do you have some comments?
Nothing in specific if there isn't any questions. There is one proposed change for motor restrictions on one of the bodies of water in the western region, Battleborn Pond out of Washoe County. It's in Spanish Springs. It's one of our new wildlife management areas within the last couple of years. And they're just proposing no motorized boats, electric motors, and no motors only. It's in a residential area in Wingfield Springs, and so it's a safety concern and a noise concern. But that's pretty much it for the western region.
Any questions for Jake? Okay,
Could you touch a little bit on like the live bait that they
The-
scratched a bunch of stuff about live bait, and so now you can use it?
I think, from my understanding, it's more of a consistency thing statewide versus having different verbiage in the eastern, southern, and western. So I think across the book, that's for consistency purpose.
Okay.
okay, do I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept the Commission General Regulation 528.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second motion. Any further discussion? There being none, I call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Commission General Regulation 515, demerit points associated with trail cameras, thermal imaging devices. Here you go, Jason.
I strongly disagree with this. Jason?
And we did
Oh, you
last
stole
time
my
too.
thunder. Again, I mean, we're right back to what we've already discussed. This is not a 12 demerit violation, in my opinion. It's absolutely ridiculous that I can get a 12 demerit citation for having possession of something in my vehicle if I'm not using it. I'm very confused how the department can regulate what I can and cannot have in my vehicle if I'm not violating federal law or state law. I don't understand how the department has any jurisdiction over that. I'm not utilizing thermal for harvesting big game animals. That's already illegal. We're just trying to catch people and have them lose hunting and fishing and trapping privileges because I think I have an idea where this comes from, and it is people utilizing these things during big game season, but that's already against the law. And it's not the regular person's fault if the Department of Wildlife's law enforcement side has trouble catching people breaking the law. That doesn't mean make it harder for everybody else in the state. That's not how that works. This is absolutely ridiculous, and we continue to talk on it, and it continues to come back. So the trail camera thing, same thing. It is not a 12 demerit violation. And the fact that you can just even send a document that says, hey, unlawful using, possessing thermal imaging, 12 demerits. By the way, right above it, taking twice the legal limit or more of big game mammals, 12 demerits. Right below that, hunting or taking a threatened species, 9 demerits. So it's less to kill a threatened species than it is to have thermal imaging in my vehicle. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I make the motion that we oppose General Regulation 515.
I strongly second.
Okay, we have a first and second motion to oppose General Regulation 515 demerit points associated with trail cameras and thermal imaging devices. Any further discussion? There being none, I call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? There being none, motion passed. Next item, Commission General Regulation 524 bonus points associated with junior hunt applications.
I like to say this one's written pretty well. They basically just eliminate the junior point being a separate bonus point category. So if you still have bonus points left over when you turn 18, they just transfer to that animal.
I thought we had voted on this already.
We did. I
They didn't,
think-
it says it was temporary, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite okay with that.
I'll make a motion that we accept Commission General Regulation 524.
Second?
I'll second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a first and second motion to accept Commission General Regulation 524 bonus points associated with junior hunt applications. Any further discussion? There being none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration of possible action, Commission Regulation 25-16 fishing seasons and regulations for January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2027.
I have a question for you on this one, Jake. So in previous meetings, we had discussed them changing the possession limit to 3 times the daily limit. And then this is proposing the limits for the next 2 years. I was just wondering if that's still a thing that we're gonna do, trying to change it to 3 times, or if that died.
I'm honestly not familiar with that. I can definitely look into it and get back to you if you want.
I was just curious before we push this through at 2 times. You guys remember that, right? We talked about that with
I
Chris.
don't remember the 3 times. I remember there was something to do so that if you fished one body of water
Let him make his presentation, then
and then took it to another body of water, technically it's in possession, and so it was like a weird thing. I remember that. I don't remember the 3 times the limit. I am curious about the, getting rid of the minimum length on striped bass at Mead and Mojave. Do you know any idea why they would do that?
I don't know.
Seems like that would be detrimental to that fishery, because that's a nationwide hotspot for striped bass, and so if you start diminishing sizes, you're not gonna develop the big fish. So I was curious if they have some reason, if it's because of like Mead's water level getting so low, or what? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the only place that they took anything on size limit out.
Yeah.
yeah, let him make his presentation.
I don't think he has one, does he?
I think he should.
Do you have a presentation,
That's what he's getting
Jake?
paid for.
I do not have a
No, he
presentation.
doesn't have a presentation.
No.
Well,
Now you're in trouble.
Wait, that's
thought
all I
you
was
got
curious
it.
about.
Oh.
I could be mistaken. It was a meeting probably 6 or 8 months ago that we had talked about this. It may have been 2 times the possession, but I thought it was 3 times the possession limit, because we talked about being able to fish for like the weekend. And if you're limited to 2 times the possession, then you're kind of done on the second day.
I know, I turned it
It's-
down,
it's-
it's still doing it.
It's just-
Like I said, I can look into that and get back to you guys. yeah, I'm not super familiar with that boat, as I wasn't in the position when that happened, so.
Understood.
And then if you want, I can also get back to you on the 20-inch for
Yeah,
striped
I'd be
bass.
curious about that.
Yep,
Why
yep,
they went that
absolutely.
smaller. I'll just put this on the record. It's weird the department went to make it easier for fishing, but
So.
could go any other wells.
Part of the description and the rationale on the 20-inch limit, so it says, angler creel surveys conducted on Lake Mead and Lake Mojave for over a decade show that anglers rarely harvest more than 20 striped bass in total, and almost never harvest 20 or more striped bass over 20 inches. So that's probably some of the rationale there.
There you go.
Simplifying the regulations will make them clearer for anglers, and based on long-term survey data, it is unlikely to affect overall harvest rates or population dynamics.
Perfect.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion to accept General Regulation 2516, fishing seasons and regulations.
I'll second.
We have a first and second motion to accept Commission Regulation 25-16, fishing seasons and regulations for January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? There being none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Consideration and possible action, adapting population objectives, addendum number 2 to elk species management plan.
Oops. So they're creating a committee basically for elk?
Right.
So, okay.
We have any further discussion? Have a motion?
I don't really see anything that jumps out at me. Stop pushing the button. I'll make a motion to approve agenda item I. Is that right? J, 7J, sorry.
Have a second?
I'll second.
We have a first and second motion to accept the adaptive population objectives addendum number 2 to the elk species management plan. Any further discussion? There being none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passed. Information items, is there anything on the Board of Commissioners revised agenda that you want to discuss?
Only if trail cameras and thermals on that agenda tomorrow. I can't make it to Vegas. Because apparently I left my ID there. No, I mean, I think I think we as a board made our stance pretty clear on.
Last
Yeah.
meeting, we did.
And again, I think this time, I mean, it's absolutely silly. These guys are, I don't know where these, it's the Board of Emerging Technologies that keeps presenting these things. And I don't know if these guys are sportsmen. I don't know if they truly understand what they're proposing, but it's really silly to do this. So it's a lot of the coyote hunters that I've talked to are absolutely opposed to this. I mean, it's a really silly thing to do, I think. So we'll just have to see, I guess, what
Well,
comes
it'd be
about it.
interesting to see how many people are fined for that in a year.
I mean, yeah, I think you'd be surprised. I know, again, I know the purpose of this. I know why it's being proposed. I understand that. But it's being proposed because Department of Wildlife law enforcement is having trouble actually catching people utilizing thermal imaging to find game during the dark. I get that, but you don't make a law that affects non-big game hunters. I mean,
Yeah.
you're affecting a lot of people with this, and I think it's just, it just, I don't know. I can't, I wish I had a true understanding of why they want to do this. I think that maybe that would help, but up till now, everything I've read, it just, there's no rhyme or reason. We're just going to make rules to make rules, and we're starting to push into some pretty scary territory if they start regulating what I can have if I'm following state and federal laws. So, I'll step off my soapbox.
Hopefully it won't come back up. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, future agenda items?
So I have a couple things. So I've been following some social media posts regarding, in other states, regarding what seems to be, from the outside looking in, a high number of archery animals that are shot and not recovered. It seems like I've seen quite a few posts, again, not Nevada specific, but surrounding states, that somebody will post, hey, you know, I hit a bull today, tracked him for 4 hours, I can't find him. If anybody comes across a dead bull, let me know. I think the department should probably consider alternate options for recovering wounded and dead animals so that is not going to waste. I know some states allow blood trailing dogs. Nevada does not. Some states allow thermal imaging drones. Again, we're back to thermals. But some states do allow thermal imaging drones for help with locating and recovering. I think that if we, as a state, focus on making sure that the animals that are shot are not suffering and we are recovering and not wasting wildlife, I think that would be a good thing for the department to look at. So I would like to possibly bring up allowing blood trailing dogs and or thermal imaging drones for the use of recovering wounded and or dead wildlife.
You propose we do a petition?
You start that conversation. I don't know how far this is going to go because I do think it's going to be somewhat controversial.
I would ask the question with the drone, if there's already laws that prohibit you from hunting in an area after flying a drone, and you use a drone to look for a wounded animal, are you now still subject to that law? Now you can no longer hunt.
So you would essentially, some of the states have enacted essentially a 24-hour wait period. So if you fly a drone, you cannot, in some states, if you fly into an area via helicopter, you fly into an area via helicopter because hunting from and scouting from a helicopter is illegal, you have to then wait 24 hours before you can hunt. I would propose something similar to that. You know you hit an animal well, you can't find him, you need to use a drone. You're essentially now 24 hours after you land that drone, you cannot pick up your bow or rifle. And if that's too far into the future of grasping, I think, then blood trailing dogs have been around for a long time.
Well, are there thermal imaging drones available to the public?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
To the public?
Yes.
Yep. About $300 on Amazon. So I will put together some research from what the other states are doing as far as laws are concerned on both sides. And then I will bring that to the next
I
meeting.
don't think it's clear whether you could use a dog to track a wounded big game animal or not. I don't
It
think
is.
it's in the regulations where it really says it's illegal.
It says you cannot use a dog in pursuit of big game. Well, that doesn't mean after they're dead. It just means in pursuit, period. And so I fear
Really?
that if you came across the wrong warden, they would say you're using that dog to hunt deer and it's illegal.
12 demerits.
12 demerits.
There's a lot of
Check.
bird dogs running out there with deer hunters all the time. We used to have, years ago, we actually had a permit, it was a free permit to allow a hound, hunter with a hound. That permit went away, but I've never seen the regulation change, really.
So at the next meeting, I'll bring forward the regulation that I found for that. The problem is just like a lot of the regulations, it's vague. It does not say for purpose of blood trailing, for purpose of pursuing. It just says for big game or while hunting big game. So I have known people in the past that have taken labs with
There's also
them.
an NAC that dictates that you must make every effort to recover
Correct.
a wounded, crippled.
Yep, correct. So you've got, but there's also a law that says I can't use a drone when hunting big game animals.
So the definition then comes under, what is hunting? Is that crippled animal under the definition of hunting, which
Right.
is in pursuit, the word pursue is in hunting, so.
So that's something I would like to look at. I think that, like I said, it spurred, I saw several posts of people that just lost the meat off of bull elk. I
yeah.
saw 3 or 4 in the last 2 weeks where they would hit one too far back and they couldn't trail it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And then that somebody in that area finds it a week later, everything's rotten at that point. Well,
oh, yeah.
you know, that's an absolute waste in my opinion. I think that we could do a better service to the wildlife if we make it to where we open up the avenues for tracking and retrieving wounded animals.
Yeah, I can see where that would be far more controversial with the drone, because I can visualize the wardens visualizing how do you prove there's a wounded animal out there when that guide is sending that drone over.
I would imagine that'll be workshop, but you would have to show a blood trail or something that proves that, hey, I hit this animal, here's the blood trail stops.
But the odds of go find a warden and take him up there to show your blood trail. No, I agree on that. I know people use dogs to track. I see it on the Facebook even. I mean, they do it all. They do it.
So I will bring some additional information to the next meeting regarding that.
Okay, that sounds good. Pam, remember that? Put it on our agenda? I'll try and remember it too.
You have another one?
You have another
I have a
idea?
lot of ideas, but probably
Yeah.
not something I want to present right now. I want to gather some more data.
I'd like to, since it's not an agenda item, but it's not any action, I'd like to have Jake come up.
As
Let
public
us-
comment.
What's going on at Lahontan? I mean, I know what's going on. But
Me or him? Okay.
no. Have you been doing any work out there this fall? Yeah, production-wise, I mean, I know it was a great fishery this summer.
Yeah. No, Lahontan was looking really good this year. We did a standardized survey last fall with gill nets and frame nets, and then it's on a 3-year rotation with Chimney and Rye Patch. So we won't survey it again until 2026 or 2027, whatever the third year is there. And that we stocked. There was 2,000 6-inch wiper, and then we stocked a few thousand channel cats as well in the spring. We ordered those fish and they got delivered in, I think it was late May or early June when we stocked those fish. But that's pretty much all we've done over at Lahontan this year.
Is there any plan to possibly augment the smallmouth bass population in Lahontan?
I've actually gotten that question recently,
I
and that's
did.
something,
Okay.
I got that question recently, and that's something that I'm going to bring up with my supervisor going into our next work program. I'm not sure what the stance is there, just still learning, but yeah, it's something that I am looking into currently, yes.
I'm not sure what the population status is. I know the Upper Carson is red hot down
Yeah.
to Dayton.
And then over at Topaz as well, the smallmouth
Yeah,
population
yeah.
over there is doing really, really well. They were doing some creel survey over there this spring. There was quite a few people that were catching some 2, 3, 4 pound smallmouth in there, so that was really, really cool to see. Yeah, that's something that is definitely on the docket that I'd like to look into, especially being the new guy and learning everything, trying to figure it out. So, yeah.
The only other discussion I had with an individual, and I've had it with myself, is the limit on 15 fish versus 25 game fish here in the valley. Why it's still 15 when we have a population like we did this summer. And it was brought up to me, and I said, well, it's just part of it's political because of the mercury, but the mercury there is no different than the mercury here.
Right, right.
I would have actually thought about proposing that change during this process of regulations, but we'll worry about it later. I don't want to clean more than 15 a day anyway.
Right.
Anything on Walker Lake?
No major updates on Walker Lake. I mean, Walker Basin Conservancy is still working towards their goal of, getting water to the
They're
lake and
still
everything.
doing water quality work.
I haven't done any of the water quality work.
DEP or somebody's doing it.
Yes. Yeah, that's all still going on right now. And then, all the water acquisition and everything for Walker Basin Conservancy. Yeah. We just had a meeting and they said they were like 59% to their goal of getting, X amount of water to the lake every year. And so they're still working towards that.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Yep.
Do you have any update on Carson Lake Management Plan?
Oh, let me do the possession limit. So the possession limit states, and this is from the general statewide regulations, page 18 of our regulation book. And it says Nevada has implemented a possession limit which allows anglers to keep 2 times the daily limit for water in which the fish were caught, which I think that answers your question. The possession limit is 2 times the daily limit for the water in which the fish are caught. Possession limits apply to that specific body of water you're fishing.
So if you were to leave,
There's like a whole example. You want
it's
me to
no longer possession, yeah.
It's
no longer
so,
limit.
here's
So
the
what now?
example.
It's tied to the body of water. The limit is
the
tied
possession
to the
limit is-
body of water that you're
Yes.
catching them from.
Yes, it's 2 times the daily limit for the body of water you're catching them from.
Yeah, that's what possession limit is.
Yes, and that's what we were going over. That was where the confusion was, if it was 2 or 3 times.
Because the question was brought up previously. Do I have to be on the record for this? It was brought up previously that, say I go out and I catch my possession limit at one body of water, but then we move, I can't fish. Is that how that works? And it sounds like that kind of clarifies it.
Yep.
To where you could, that's just your possession limit for that body of
You
water.
cannot exceed the possession limit that you're fishing that day. You cannot go from a 15 fish limit down to a 5 and still be fishing.
I think that's what they were trying to address.
So this example says day 1, an angler is fishing Knott Creek Reservoir, daily limit 1, and harvests their 1 trout. They can then move to Onion Reservoir, daily limit 5, later in the day and harvest 4 more trout.
Right, because it's an increase.
Yes.
The decrease,
Yes.
You still have
you
your
can't
daily
start
limit
at
max.
Onion
Yes.
at 5 and have 5 on the shore and Knott Creek.
Yeah, don't go
right.
the opposite
Yeah,
direction.
exactly.
There's
Yep.
That's the way
Yep.
it's always been.
questions. That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
And then to update your question about the update for Carson Lake, there are no major updates to the best of my knowledge right now. I know that that's going to be a priority of Kyle Larson and then Jeremy Lutz, who took over as the staff specialist over WMAs. Yeah, that's pretty much the update.
Okay.
We did get an excavator out there this year, and so they've been running the excavator for the last month, basically trying to fix some of the dikes and some of the major stuff going on out there. And then we replaced 5, 6 water control structures that were all rusted out from the previous floods and years of use and everything. So we replaced those with concrete flashboard structures in the spring right before I left. So that was good.
No botulism?
No bocce this year. Nope.
What's the water conditions out there right now?
Currently, they just finished filling the Sprig, and then they're moving on to the Rice, the York, and the Grimes, and then whatever extra water they have, they'll put into the Big Water and the surrounding ponds.
So the sprig is full?
Yes, yes.
And big water?
No, Big Water probably won't get full this year. They will end up having to spill some water in there, kind of like last year,
So
but
the Rice will have some?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. The Rice, the York, the Grimes, all of those units on the north side of the Madison levee.
But in between will be dry.
Yeah. Yep. And then the Sprig. And then the Triangle Pond will probably have water. And then the Square Outs over on the west side will likely have water. And then the Old Man's Pond, Tamarack Pond, all that stuff on the north end will likely be full. There's just not enough water to fill the Big Water and the Sprig without leaving the other 3 units dry. So.
I know it's not your job, but do you know, have they used most of their water rights?
They will use all of their water rights, yes. And we do the best we can to get 100% of our allocation every single year. I did it last year and started mid-September, so it wasn't fun, but it got done. So.
Okay, anything else? Okay, a call for adjournment. Then, thanks, Jake.